Welcome to it, sports fans. I am MKT, and I feel good about that. I feel good about who I am. It's great to be great. It's really good to be good. On this fine day, the 18th of August, I'm really, really grateful to say when I went for a run today, I actually felt healthy. And I know a lot of people are not feeling so great right now because it is freezing in Johannesburg. So the secret is to go for a run. Really, that's the moral of the story. So tonight it is just me, but I do have a special guest. We're going to talk NBA. We're going to talk Manchester United season. Was it a failure? Are people happy? Plenty to discuss, of course, on that front. The NBA is getting into the good stuff. If you haven't been watching the NBA, so if you just want to see the height of production, I highly recommend it. There are two things in sport. I'll talk about one of them. And then, there's two things in sport, NBA, and I think another thing that got it dead right. And I was wrong about that. So I'll tell you where I was wrong, where I was right. That's going to be first. And then we will have our guest, of course, and we'll talk United and NBA and all sorts. But we're going to start with where I was right, where I was wrong. Right? So we'll do this every week because I'm humble. And I'm happy to tell people and say, I was right, I was wrong. Humble almost to a fault, really. Humble almost to a fault. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get going today. Thank you for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start. Where I was right. Look, the Pogba situation now, I'm sorry. I can't watch what I watched against Sevilla, watch a 32-year-old Eva Banega dominate the midfield, and then say, I've got a guy who's 90 million. So the excuse I always hear for Paul Pogba is he's not a number 10. He's not a number 8. He's a deep-lying playmaker. Listen, if your role is to control the game with quality around you, right? If Pogba's role is a deep-lying number 6, and he's really not a long ball passer, he's not your Pirlo type of control. So if his role is, I'm a deep-lying playmaker, your role is to keep the ball for your team. Eva Banega kept it away from him. At no stage, right, did Man United have control. Did they have chances? Yes. But all of those were on the counter-attack. Not one can I say, okay, they've started it deep, they've moved the ball, and they had control in the movement, and they made Sevilla move out of shape. The Pogba thing's a fallacy now. Let it go. Let it go. He was shocking. Completely outplayed by a 32-year-old Eva Banega who's on his way out, by the way. It looked like Pogba was the guy on his way out. I'm sorry, I was dead right. The Pogba thing's done. The Pogba thing, it's been a failure. In life, you got to let things go. Right? If you get divorced, right, it doesn't mean you're bad people. But you made mistakes. Man United need to accept we made a mistake. Let's get 50, 60 million back for him whilst there's still value. But for me, let it go. He's done. Outplayed by a good Sevilla team. Where I was wrong. Listen, I said it last week. I thought college football would make it happen. But even worse, I thought super franchise, let's just make it happen. Now it's come out. I was listening to the face of college football this morning, Kirk Herbstreit. The Herbstreit is saying no chance. The complications are, if you're in the Big 10, if you're in the Big 12, is they've all got network contracts, right? So that's how it works. Is the network contracts mean that you're tied to your conference. You can't just say, hey, I'm the Ohio State Buckeyes. Let me get out of here. We're going to start a super conference down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama with the SEC. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. I thought they would be more aggressive. I thought they put more pressure on the NCAA and go, listen, the boys want to play. We're losing out on around $20 billion of industry, right? Now, the brainy schools, they don't care. The Ivy League pulled out a long time ago, but who cares about them anyway? They're going to be the presidents. They're going to run the banks. For a lot of these guys, let's be honest, guys playing college football, we know what kind of environments they come from. I thought they take that more into account. But once you don't have coaches and players fighting for them, you now have presidents and people that care about academia and consequences, of course, down the line. College football, not going to happen. SEC, perhaps, Big 10, Big 12, forget it, pack it up. Pack it up. Look, it may still happen. Some schools may go, NCAA, we've had enough. The Buckeyes may say, take your $52 million back. That's the type of money that's on the line for Rice, by the way. This is college football. $52 million, right? For the Big Ten network. that they're giving the Buckeyes. Buckeyes said, they may say, all right, take your 50 million back. We're going to go down, join Alabama, join the Georgia Bulldogs, super conference. And I believe they'd make more money. But I was wrong. Doesn't look like they're going to be aggressive. Listen, where I was right. Barcelona, after Pep Guardiola, have just made mistake after mistake. But mistake number one that Barcelona have made, it's quite simple. You are the model. Now, take a bit of pain. When Zidane came and they dominated in the Champions League for 3 years, take a bit of pain. Wait out the Madrid dynasty. Dynasties don't last forever. 2, 3 years at most. Barcelona got impatient. Look at the type of players they were buying. Why did they buy Semedo? Why did they go chasing Mateo? Why did they go chasing Vermaelen? Why did they go chasing Dembele? These are not Barcelona type of La Masia players. It makes no sense. We know what the script is for you. You go Dutch because your system's built on the Ajax players, right? 3-4-3, 4-3-3. They understand the total football inside out. Barcelona from then, think about it, since Pep left, it has been absolutely decimated. The only time it's worked, Tito Villanova, Luis Enrique, what do they have in common? In-house. Every time since Pep, where they've tried to outsource this, I mean, honestly, the Setien thing was a mess from the beginning. Stop getting impatient. Barcelona, you are the model. Go in-house. All your coaches, everybody must come from within-house. You've got the greatest development system on planet Earth. There is nowhere where the standard is that high technically and indeed to win. They've made that mistake over and over and over. Why is Antoine Griezmann there? Makes no sense. He's not the type of player. He's quick, he's dynamic, he wants ball to feet. You already got Leo Messi for that. I mean, you got the best of all time to do what Griezmann does. You got a B-Tech Leo Messi coming in, and you're telling me you want to be the best in the world. Huge mistakes. Barcelona, I was dead right. I said after Pep, they've made mistakes. After Enrique in particular, oh my goodness. Barcelona, get it together. Where I was wrong, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I thought he cared about being world class. It's just come out. He's going to sign a three-year deal, £240,000 a week. It looks like. I thought he wanted to win. It makes no sense to me. Over the last 18 months, he's been the best striker in the Premier League. Now, the best striker in the Premier League as we speak is Sergio Aguero, but that's body of work. But for 18 months, Aubameyang's playing left mid, people. Left mid. It's so ridiculous. 70 goals since he's arrived. Nobody scored more goals since he arrived. It's just unbelievable. And he doesn't play left forward like Sadio Mane. He doesn't play forward like Salah. He genuinely tracks back. He does not leave his left back exposed. Quite sensational. It's been 2 seasons in a row where he's been one off, right? Winning the Golden Boot. He's unbelievable. What is he doing signing at Arsenal? Best case scenario, Arsenal are top 6 next season. That's best case scenario. Chelsea with the transfer ban are 4 places above them. Chelsea are about to add Havertz to Werner to Ziyech. Are you kidding me? Hudson-Odoi, we saw what Pulisic was last year. I'm sorry. Chelsea's going to be the bottom level. United came back. They've roared back, and United will add. They will add. So I just don't understand what Aubameyang... I thought Aubameyang out of there. Real Madrid, Benzema for me has been stealing a living. Barcelona, you probably need someone. Suarez carrying that lockdown weight around the stomach. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang says, I was loyal to Gabon, could have played for France. I am loyal to Arsenal. I was dead wrong. I thought the money would talk. I thought he'd go Barcelona, Real Madrid, or even Bayern Munich. Let's go 2 up front. I was dead wrong. Where I was right, Raheem Sterling's not world class. World class doesn't miss that chance. And it's enough times now. It's enough times. You know, you hate to say it, but you now see why Harry Kane didn't cross it. That's the banter that's been going around. Raheem Sterling, not world class. Get out of here with that. Situational player, it's been good, but really it's tap-ins with Kevin De Bruyne putting it on a plate for you, David Silva putting it on a plate for you, Bernardo Silva putting it on a plate for you, Sergio Aguero putting it on a plate for you, Jesus the Messiah of Brazil putting it on a plate for you. Raheem Sterling, not it. That cross, but those are the moments. People say don't judge him on moments. I'm sorry, those are the moments. That's what separates good, great. Raheem Sterling, good. Not great. Said it for a while. Not the guy. If he's the highest level England have, I'm afraid it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. I was dead right on Raheem Sterling. Where I was wrong, I love boxing. It's the Xhosa in me. I've said it over and over. Fight camp. I thought fight camp would be a disaster. No fans. It's in Eddie Hearn's garden. And this weekend, I'm really looking forward to the fights to sort of wrap it all up. Povetkin against a man who's really been mucked about by the WBC. Dillian White. That's going to be outstanding. Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You have been outstanding for the sport. If you haven't seen it, go and look up. It's in his garden. It's literally in his garden. But my God, what a garden it is. And how brilliant they have been with the setup. I thought boxing, no fans. Right, where the judge is going to sit. How are you going to commentate? They have been outstanding. The fights have been brilliant. Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, big up to you guys. Absolutely brilliant. And a great way to bring back sport. BT Sport have tried. They've had studio shows. Oh my goodness. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Studio shows don't work. Big up Matchroom Sport. Big up Eddie Hearn. Listen, where I was right. Man United aren't going to pay 108 for Jadon Sancho. It's not an ability thing. I said it last week. It's about mentality. Do you know what? If you have a puppy, what do? Right? Is you take the puppy and while it's young, you teach it to go to the bathroom outside. Right? You teach it to wee outside. Jadon Sancho, now on around 30, 40,000 pounds a week, was late, fined around 7 times by Borussia Dortmund. That's now at 21. That's with no money. Imagine what happens when you make him 340, 350,000 pounds a week type of guy. Money doesn't change people. It makes you more of who you are. The concern's not about talent. The concern's about character. 60, 70 million. If I'm Man United, no problem. I swallow that bitter pill. And hey, 4 or 5 years, we probably have to move him on. I think they're starting to realize that with Pogba. 100 million, get out of town. So I was right. It's not. I'm hearing reports now that they're not swallowing that pill. They're not swallowing 108 million. Too rich for our blood. It's not an ability thing. They've already seen. He's breaking lockdown to go and get a haircut. Do we need that? We already have Paul Pogba. We already have Lingard in-house. The guys that are about, as the kids say, that lifestyle. Do we need another one? No good. Not for 108 million. I was dead right. Jadon Sancho, it's not about your ability. It is all about your lack of character. I wouldn't do it personally at all, not even at 100 mil. No talent is worth that, I'm afraid. He was late 7 times. He's 21 years old. Imagine when you pay him. He becomes an unruly beast. No, thank you. Jadon Sancho. I'm United, I'm out. Listen, I'm Ollie. He's trying to create a Fergie type of environment. You can have one of them. Right? In all of Fergie's teams, think of them. Always one crazy guy. Cantona, just Cantona. Right? You move on from him. When it was Keane, just Keane. You don't have more than one crazy guy. That's not how we do it. Always one crazy guy. That's the Fergie secret. We're building that for United again. Sancho, I'm out. 108, certainly. Too rich for our blood. I was dead right from the beginning. I doubted it from the beginning. Where I was wrong, listen, fans in sport. I've seen too many sport now that are getting it right. The crowd noises with production is they're shooting it a little bit tighter, right? I was wrong. I thought it would be a disaster in football. It's not. How great's the Champions League then? The production quality, BT Sports, Sky Sports, Eurostar, they've been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Crowd noise, the production. Once again, fight camp. I think they've got it right as it's ratcheted up. 2 weeks of great boxing. This week, apparently, they're going to take it even to another level. Hey, sport without fans, not too bad. I can work with it. I can live with it. And the sport I thought that would miss it most, boxing, has got it dead right. I've loved hearing. What I love is the technical side of boxing. I love hearing the corners. Right? Get closer. Touch tight. Hook. It's been awesome. So, to all of the people putting on sport around the world and eventually South African football, great job. Where I was right, LeBron and the Lakers. Listen, LeBron James, his whole career has really had no number 2. And everybody says Kyrie. Kyrie's a madman. We've seen it now. He's a lunatic. He's not somebody you want around. He's not somebody you can rely on. He's not. Because, when LeBron left, other way around, is Kyrie left LeBron. He said, I want my own show. We've seen him unravel. We've seen that he's not somebody anybody can rely on. You get divorced once, That's okay. Your wife might be crazy. You get divorced twice. Okay, that didn't work out. It was a personality clash. The third time, it's a you problem. Kyrie Irving, niche. Not for me, right? LeBron James and the Lakers, they always said, hey, it's the east of the least. Okay, fine. Let me come to the west. And boom, right? With some help, Anthony Davis has accepted his role as number 2. It's been brilliant. It's been clockwork. What are the excuses now? I said it from the beginning. Just let LeBron settle in. He had the big injury last season, and we're off to the races. LeBron James, still the king at 35. The Lakers are on to something. Look, where I was wrong, Rory McIlroy. I thought Rory was the guy. I had a look this afternoon. Rory McIlroy is 31 years old. He's got like that boyish face. I still think of him as like 26. The guy ripping it down at Augusta, right? Ripping it down the fairway. Rory's 31. I was wrong. I thought he'd replace Tiger. Right? All of that swagger, all of that talk. I mean, listen, 4 majors. But you know who else has 4 majors? Brooks Koepka. He feels like he's been here for 5 minutes. Ernie Els. I love the Big Easy. One of the greatest sportsmen South Africa's ever had. Nobody thinks Big Easy's the greatest. I was wrong on Rory. I thought he had it. I thought he was the next pin-up guy in golf. Rory McIlroy, not it. So sad. At most he wins, 6? Because there's new guys. Koepka's here now. Morikawa looks like... Hey, Colin Morikawa has had a swing and a mental coach since 8 years old. Let that one sink in. Colin Morikawa has had a swing coach since he was 8 years old. Rory, it's over. I don't think he wins another one. 31 years old now. I thought he was the pin-up boy of golf. I was flat out wrong. And I like Rory, by the way. But he's just not it. Tell me I'm wrong. He's just not it. I love doing that. That's where I was right. That's where I was wrong. That is where I was right. That is where I was wrong. Coming up, hey, we're going to talk a little bit about Man United, but we're going to start off with the NBA playoffs. We've got a special guest with us tonight. Really looking forward to that because he's had some things to say. We've been privately kind of chatting. We're going to have more fans on. We're having fans on because I believe the beauty of the digital world is, hey, without people that subscribe and like and share our content, we're useless. So I love having fans on. I love interacting. It's the new way. It's 2020. This is how we do it now. It's not just about people on screen carrying on and knowing it all. It's great to hear from fans, and fans know more for me than coaches. Because I've been in high-level sports environments. Coaches only focus on their teams. If you play in a team, you don't watch other stuff. Fans now watch everything. It's on YouTube. It's on social media. So I want to reward our fans. And we have one of our super fans, somebody who has been incredibly vocal and supported the cause from the beginning. He's coming up after this. All righty, we are back. Do you know, this guy, we've got so much to get through that we're going to get straight to it because he's had a lot to say to me. We've spoken a lot about basketball. We've actually spoken for a while now. He's a massive Man United fan. So we're going to get straight into it. No intro. Let's just get straight into it. Dave, give me Senzo there. Senzo Sithebe, my guy. What's going on?
How's it, Muller? How are you doing?
Yeah, great, bro. Listen. Number one, thank you for your support because you've been one of the people that have been endlessly supportive. So number one, let's start there. Let's start with the pleasantries.
No,
Thank
man.
you so much, and it's an honor to have you here, bro.
I know, man. You guys produce a great product. I mean, every sports fan should be locked into your show. I mean, the insights and also the way it's interactive. I mean, people don't necessarily agree with you, but that's the beauty of it. You get to have an opinion, and yeah, you may have some controversial statements, but hey, you back them up. So if you back something up, nobody can really put you down for it.
Love it. Let's go. Let's get straight into it because you and I, we used to kind of know each other. I moved to Cape Town and now I'm back. Listen, let's get straight into the NBA because now the NBA is getting for real, right? So
the business
what you need to do is, it is the business end. Put your colors to the mast. Who do you support just so people know where your biases lie?
Well, I'm a Lakers fan, so been a Lakers fan since I was about 9, 10, Shaq Kobe era. Yeah. But before that, I watched a little bit of Jordan towards his latter career. But yeah, I'm a Lakers fan, big Lakers fan. So having LeBron in our team, we look like we're finally contenders, at least. We've been quiet for a while.
Hey, it's as the youth say, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since they were relevant.
We've been looking for the next great thing after Kobe.
Hey, it's, like I said, it's been a minute. R.I.P. the great Mamba. Look, I want to be honest. I support LeBron, so I'm not like a Lakers guy. I'm a LeBron guy. I always count myself. No, I'm the sixth guy. I'm the sixth member. It's me, Maverick Carter, and the guys. Me, Maverick Carter, and the guys. Cool. We kind of look after LeBron's business. I'm an unofficial member of Team LeBron. All of it. Me and Shannon Sharp, we're all a team. When LeBron doesn't succeed on his own, we're all a team driving him to success. We take care of the stuff in the background because that allows him to be great and do what he does and go and win the Western Conference. What do you think of people saying like he's been lucky to win the West this year? Because every time LeBron does something, there's always a detractor, right? Everybody said, okay, you can only win in the East, blah, 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 there's no competition. Now he's come to the West, second year, untouchable. What do you think of people saying, obviously Golden State hasn't been themselves? Is that LeBron's fault? Like they're saying Houston hasn't been that, and the West hasn't been the best West. What do you think of people that are saying that?
Look, I mean, you have to look at how the West has shaped up even before lockdown. Because look, before lockdown, I mean, the Lakers were still the number one seed. And their nearest rivals, the noisy neighbors, as we call them, the Clippers, they just acquired Kawhi Leonard. So now it's really serious. So he was number one. He was the first seed even before lockdown. So people that try and knock LeBron for every small thing that he does and everything, I think they're being fair to him. They're not being fair to him because he showed you could do it in the East, and he said the East was easy. But I don't know anybody that makes 8 straight finals on his own. Basically on his own. So obviously he was going to do well in the West.
So my thing is this, right? Everybody says, yeah, he had Kyrie, but you've kind of seen, for me, and to be honest, this is how I operate in life, is I don't like flaky people. I kind of feel like what's happened with him is he's been exposed for what he is now. He said, okay, I want my own show. He goes to Boston. That doesn't work. Okay, it might be Brad Stevens. Yeah. It's not the guy for you, Jason Tatum. But to be honest, the Boston was worse when he went there because remember, they pushed LeBron to Game 7 the season before.
Yeah, true.
He came. I mean, they were awful. Then now Boston is like, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Because Kyrie wanted to go to Boston. He went to Boston, okay, and then he was 22-4 before he got injured. And then the younger guys, what happened? The younger guys picked it up and they just did what they did without him, and they did great. So now when he got back into the team, he was like, okay, well, what's going on? And the younger guys were actually like, look, bro, we're good without you. You know, we don't need all that drama and everything. We're actually better without you. So I don't know. It backfired in his face because the thing is, it's one thing to say, okay, cool, I'm gonna go do my own thing. But like when you do your own thing and it backfires on you, then you have to assess like where you are as a player and all that.
And sometimes part of leadership is accepting your role, right? Is if Kyrie was the guy, is he goes to Boston and he goes, okay, this is Tatum's team. Where do I fit in? How do I make everybody else the best? And I felt like, okay. So, but my main point was he's been exposed as everybody says he helped LeBron. My thing is, I don't think LeBron even had help with him. If anything, he had somebody who was looking to dethrone him, because what happened is get out of here. Now you've had two situations where it's been a messy divorce, because even him leaving Cleveland was messy, right? That tells you a little bit of character. So that's exactly, two places where it's been messy. I'm sorry.
Exactly, because the thing is about Kyrie Irving, he was crying about he wanted his own team and everything. And him being traded to Boston wasn't even one of his top options. So it kind of just happened. He just fell into Boston. So, I mean, if you have a guy like that in your team, I don't know how good he is for a locker room, especially among the young guys, because the thing is, it's going to be the young guys against the new guy who wants to take over the team. So that's going to be a very, very messy dynamic, because, I mean, okay, it's all good and well. You get traded to Cleveland. There's nothing you can do for that. Then you go and you say, I want my own team. And then you go and you want your own team. It doesn't really quite work out. And then we must assess, like, what's your leadership role? What does that say about you as a team player and as somebody that we should have in a locker room to try and push for titles and everything?
Now, speaking on that, I'd love your opinion, because you're an NBA guy. We now see what's happening in Brooklyn. Him and KD have decided, okay, we're both going to sit this one out. They want to keep handling kind of the social issues that are, of course, in America. So that was their line, is that's what we're going to do. We're not coming to the lockdown. Now, those are two very interesting characters. Kevin Durant, another guy, he's got burner accounts. He's saying all sorts of things about, like, I saw what he said about LeBron and MJ, telling people you're guys. So he's kind of got those games. Do you think these two personalities are able to keep that? For me, they seem a bit crazy. Can these guys take Brooklyn all the way?
Well, look, this is a very interesting question, because this could work one of two ways, because Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, they've got similar personality in the sense that they've both got thin skin, and anybody that says something against them, they're very quick to answer them instead of proving it on the court. So they're very defensive. So my thing is, it could work one of two ways. I mean, sorry, I've got a couple of points on this, not one of two ways. My thing is, there must be a number one and number two. And to most people, the number one is Kevin Durant. His credentials say it all. Also, Kyrie Irving, we've just discussed this. I mean, he went to Boston and he said, look, I want my own team. And that didn't really work out. And also, what you must realize is that he must have thought, look, okay, cool, I want my own team. But it's actually harder than it seems, because it's all good on paper and everything. But you go there and the team is doing well without you. I mean, that must raise some eyebrows. You must be concerned. Kevin Durant, I mean, he's the alpha dog. I mean, MVPs literally carried. He literally made OKC the franchise that it is today. So, I mean, we all know. So it just depends. But with that being said, I mean, now for the Nets, it's a honeymoon period, because Kevin Durant's been injured. He's got an Achilles injury. He's been out for over a year. He hasn't been on a court in a year. So with the Nets now, nobody's expecting the Nets to do great or whatever. So this is just an experiment. So this could work one of two ways. Okay, if Kevin Durant comes back and they're cooking with Kyrie, then it's great. But it could be a situation of, okay, cool. Without Kyrie Irving, we did okay. We got to the first round. And then when Kevin Durant comes back, then they really elevate to that next level. So it might raise some eyebrows again of where does Kyrie Irving fit in this whole system? Because you must be aware, Kyrie Irving's a point guard, and for him, he's his own scorer. But now you've got another guy that does that in his sleep. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one to figure out. So, but as long as the number one and the number two roles are defined, then everything's going to go okay.
And if you're Brooklyn's coach, who's your number one guy?
My number one guy is Kevin Durant. I mean,
wow.
He's a scoring machine. I mean, we've all seen this. I mean, look, for a point guard to be your scorer, to be your facilitator, to be everything else, it's asking a lot. It's asking a lot, because when you're a point guard, I mean, you're creating shots and you're seeing openings for other people. So your numbers kind of take a downfall. And also that, I mean, if you're a point guard, there must be another guy to alleviate pressure off you, and a guy that can get you buckets. And Kevin Durant is that guy. He is that guy. His resume speaks for himself. I mean, he's got 4 scoring titles, an MVP, 2 Finals MVPs. He's just on a different level. He's just on a different
11-foot shooting arc. 11-foot
Exactly.
shooting arc, by the way, the most efficient
He's a
scorer
unicorn.
in the history of the NBA. He is a unicorn. And I have to
He's a
agree with
unicorn.
you here is, remember, he came, by the way, to a team that I just want to go back to this. LeBron beat a 72 and 19, just saying, hey, no big deal. With all of them, with the big three, by the way. But this is how good Kevin Durant is. He came, the two greatest shooters in the history of the game is like immediately Steph Curry, you're number 2, and Klay Thompson, you are number 3. They're like, no questions. That's how good this guy is.
Exactly.
So to me, the interesting part, and you've raised some good points. I think, it's going to be interesting to see whether Kyrie can put his ego on a leash, because it's all good when we're friends, right? It's all good when we're friends and hey, because we know they're big buddies. Now, because, adversity always reveals character. Game 6,
Absolutely.
It's tight, and the coach calls a play for Kevin Durant instead of Kyrie. We'll see how that works out. Listen, I want to move on. Yeah. Talk to me about Dame Lillard, because I was reading some reports. Shams Charania from Shams Charania, NBA reporter Shams Charania, saying in his mind, he's starting to talk about Dame Lillard being number 1. I think he is the MVP of the bubble. But he's saying Dame Lillard's the best shooter in the league. Your thoughts?
No, not even close. It is not even close. It is not even close. People are, guys, not Curry, I mean, Steph Curry has changed the game, guys. Steph Curry is, he's him and the Warriors have single-handedly changed the way basketball is being played. I mean, then people used to say you can't win a championship with just shooters. Look what they've done. Look what they have done. And my thing is, look at all of Curry's, not Curry's stats. Who's this guy? Steph Curry's stats. Look at all of his stats.
Oh, yeah.
Comparing him to Steph Curry. Look at all of his percentages. It's ridiculous. His percentages are ridiculous. Steph Curry is shooting 45% career from 3 points. From 3 points. Like, that's ridiculous. That's simply unheard of. Look, Dame Lillard is good. He's great and everything. But he's only doing what Steph Curry started this thing. So he can't be the best shooter of all time. Steph Curry started this thing. Dame Lillard is playing the way he is because of guys like Steph Curry. Steph Curry gave guys like him a lane, so he can't be the best shooter. It's unheard of.
He's shooting it from the logo.
Dude, Steph Curry
Dame
does that
Lillard's
for
shooting
fun.
it from the logo.
If you go see Steph Curry's, you must go see Steph Curry's 30 to 35 foot shot stats. He's 54% from that distance. So that means more often than not, when he pulls up from 30 to 35 feet, more often than not, the ball's going in. Dame Lillard's only doing this now, lately. Nah, come on, guys, come on.
All right, well, also Charania.
Also, I just think people are
go ahead.
They're missing Steph Curry. They're missing Steph Curry that much that they've forgotten about what he can do. So, guys, let's not forget. You don't go unanimous for fun. You don't Steph Curry is a different animal when it comes to shooting 3 points.
All right. Well, there we go. Shams Charania, get the hell out of here. Senzo says, get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Listen, let's move on to Houston. Small ball. I said a couple of weeks ago, I said I was wrong. I didn't even think they'd make the playoffs because I'm not big on Russell Westbrook, by the way. I just think he's a show pony and he's a stat padder, but okay, that's fine. He's arrived. I didn't think it would work with Harden, but they're good friends. Remember, they played early on together at OKC, and they've known each other throughout high school basketball. Talk to me about small ball. What are your thoughts? Can they go all the way?
No, small ball. Look, small ball is not sustainable. It's very intense. It's high paced. It's intense, and also with small ball, you have a relatively small team, so it's all good and well playing small ball and everything, but for 82 games and during a playoff run, not sustainable. Also, with small ball, who gets your rebounds? So what happens when you go play Giannis and you go play guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron James? You play teams with rebounders, guys that go and they rebound the ball. You go play the Clippers. What happens then? Then? Because also what we're seeing with the Rockets now, this might be good or bad for Russell Westbrook, but now we're seeing that Russell Westbrook might have been used wrong his whole career. Because now you're seeing him now. He doesn't have to go make threes. He doesn't have to go be a perimeter shooter. He can go do what he does, and that's play in the paint. And he's better when he plays in the paint. And now
terrible shooter.
Terrible shooter. Exactly. Now you see that the Rockets, I mean, now he's attempting max 4 3-pointers per game. Where at OKC was trying to shoot the lights out. So I don't know. But I just don't think small ball's the one. Him and James Harden, I think, have an understanding though, because now now Russell can make shots for other guys, the guys who aren't as good at making shots for themselves. Harden doesn't have a problem with making a shot for himself, but like other guys might have a problem with that. And with that being said, then yeah, they're going to miss Russell Westbrook now that he's injured.
So, okay, let's wrap up with the NBA. Dave, why don't you give us the graphic there of the playoffs and the whole setup? And let's talk through it, right? For our podcast listeners, of course, we'll finish off with the Lakers. Let's start Eastern Conference. I mean, Giannis, are you backing him against Dallas?
That's the Magic. That's Orlando Magic.
Orlando, sorry.
Yeah, Bucks and 5. Like,
okay,
the Magic don't have anybody. They're not bad enough to go win the draft lottery. They're not good enough to be a serious playoff contender. So Bucks in 5.
Indiana, Miami.
I'm gonna say Miami in 6. I like the way that team is set up. They play well. They play well as a unit. Also, I mean, the Pacers have got Victor Oladipo is just coming back from an injury. Like he's not 100%. But Miami have surprised a lot of people. So Miami in 6.
Yeah, listen, Pat Riley's got a good thing going there. So you're saying, all right, so it is in the semi-final, it'll be Giannis playing Miami. I like that. Let's go. Game 1 is already done here, but Boston 76ers. Of course, Boston 1-0 up there. Tatum is a different animal, but your thoughts over 7?
Well, I also think Boston are going to do it in 5 because Embiid doesn't have Simmons with him. So I also think Joel Embiid, if he doesn't have help, like what's he going to do against a very good Celtics team? You've seen Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is not afraid. He's got that thing. He's not afraid. Like for such a young guy, he's going to be very scary in a couple of years. Very scary in a couple of years.
Yeah, and they've got a great young coach. I think they've got a good thing going there. I wouldn't bring in another superstar. I think there's 2 guys, but Tatum's the guy, right? His hand over Boston to him. The situation at the 76ers, while we're here, what do you do? Because it's been trust the process. But for me, I'm done with the drama. I was watching Colin Cowherd, and he said it really well, is nothing should be this hard. Like a relationship 5 years in, right? If you're in a relationship and it's still hard, it's a grind every day, you're fighting with your partner after 5 years, you're not in a relationship, it's a mess, get out of it. The Ben Simmons thing is, am I crazy? It's not working. The process failed. It's okay, move on. Or what do you think?
I'll tell you what. The problem is with the Sixers, I mean, Ben Simmons is not a shooting guy. He's not a shooting guy. So the problem with the 76ers is that too many guys are clogging up the paint. So it doesn't – how's that going to work? Because now we're all clogging up the paint and people want to get their numbers. So we're all there together. It's just like oil and water. Everybody's getting in each other's way, and it's just a mess there. So I'm also with you. Someone has to go there.
And who would you say? Because it is an interesting one. Here are your choices. Is you have somebody who you just can't rely on Joel Embiid. The guy's overweight. Next thing he's got, apparently his diet means he's sometimes getting the stomach flu, like it's 1837. I haven't heard of the stomach flu. So it's like Sam Darnold getting mono last year. I couldn't believe it. But so now, do you go with Joel Embiid, who you really can't rely on the guy? His knees are shot, and then he's out of shape constantly, which is just a ridiculous thing for me, for a guy you want to call you superstar. Or do you go with the Australian who can't shoot? Who do you build your team around? But he's got handles for days. Who goes for you?
I'd build it around Ben Simmons, because Joel Embiid, we're seeing that breed of that breed of centers dying out. I mean, he's an old school center. These days, you need a center who can shoot. You need a center who can shoot, because like now, people who are clogging up the paint, like it doesn't really work. So look, I like Joel Embiid, but I'd rather have a point guard who's a facilitator, because we've seen Ben Simmons. Yeah, he can't shoot, but he's got handles, and that's what you want from a point guard. You want a guy that can facilitate. That's the main thing you want in a point guard.
But listen, you also need something else from you need a mid-range game. Like you can't win in this game.
True.
If the guy without the ball, the guy with the ball in his hands needs a mid-range game. Does it worry you that his fourth season now? Does it worry you that Ben Simmons hasn't worked on his shooting, or do you think it's something he can develop?
No, it is a worry because now they're being found out. Because also what you get from that 76ers team is that they don't like winning to them is not first and foremost. Like there's always something in the background. They don't look hungry for it. They think their talent is just going to take them everywhere. I mean, for me to be in the league 4 years and my shooting has not improved, I mean, that must say something about my work ethic. It means, okay, cool, I'm just comfortable. I don't want to elevate my game.
Wow, but you'd still build around him over Joel. I guess they're both a problem. You're saying let's pick the worst of it's really picking the devil. You almost the younger devil. Rather pick the young guy exactly, who's got character problems than the other guy. No, fair enough. I think fair point, Dave. Let's get back to it. I think the process has failed. Sometimes when you're in a bad relationship, people let go. People are terrible at that. Just let go.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it didn't work out. Yeah. All right. Absolutely. Raptors Nets. Look, the Nets are already. Here's another interesting situation I want to propose to you before you give me your take. All right.
Sure.
Is the Nets are already with a young team rolling. Once again, remember what happened in Boston. You bring Kyrie into a successful young team already. That didn't work out once before. My mom always says something.
Yeah.
People, when they show you who they are, believe them the first time. Kyrie's already shown you what they have. Sure. The Nets have been brave. How do you think it's going to go with this young team? And then we'll get to predicting the result with Kyrie coming in. Do you think he might blow it up again, or do you think that he'll learn from his lessons?
Well, he has to learn from his lessons now. What's he, 28 now? He can't afford he can't afford any more mess ups because I think he has to swallow his pride because now we've seen that in today's league. You need to have you need to have two stars on your team. You need to have two superstars on your team. You can't just do it with one guy. And also, you must understand the Nets. The Nets now might be doing well because they aren't playing with any pressure because nobody expects anything from them. Now, once Kyrie and KD come back, they automatically become the best team in the East. And now there's pressure. There's expectation now. You're expected to make the finals now. So, we're playing without pressure is a blessing for these guys at the moment. So they're just giving it their best shot. Look, I don't fancy them to do anything against Toronto because also Toronto, they're a good team and also they're the defending champions. So I think Toronto should get it done. I'm also guessing 6 here.
Wow, Toronto in 6. Okay, which is fair. That's you give away 2 games. But listen, Siakam. Oh my God, has that not worked out? Are you kidding me? He is spectacular, dude.
He's the guy. He's the guy. But also, also say something because like Toronto as well, barring last year, before that, they weren't a bad team. 2 seasons ago, 2017 or 2018, they broke their franchise record for most victories. And that tells you something. Those guys are a well-coached team because before Kawhi Leonard, they didn't have like that superstar because, you can't really consider, who's this guy? You can't really consider Kyle Lowry as an elite superstar. So, for me, it's because they're well coached, and that's all you want from a team, to be a well coached team.
All the articles that I've been reading is that Nick Nurse is the guy, right? He's the coach. So if you're into the NBA, go and look into Nick Nurse. He'll be coach of the year this year if they haven't announced it already. He's been spectacular, and I'm reading all the articles from across the board. ESPN, Bleacher Report, they're all saying, and this is coaches. The coach is saying this is, hey, and scouts, they're saying that's the best coach in the league. So I think you're dead right, and. You've raised a great point. It's Siakam last year. Everybody thought, okay, they obviously, look, when you have the claw, that takes you over the edge, Like they had a great team and Nick Nurse was that a good, but then you have that guy. Oh my goodness, are you can, but Siakam's shown, hey, I can be that guy. I think give him 2 or 3 years because he's only, 23?
Absolutely. So I think now that they've kind of told Kyle Lowry that, look, this is the next guy. So you better trust this guy with everything you have because, he's going to help you get to the promised land. So I think they're trying to push that mantra in Toronto.
Yeah, I like Lowry. I kind of like he's a dog. And you know what? He's already shown me that he didn't cause any trouble when the claw came. He deferred. He said, okay, I'm just going to facilitate. When you want the ball, you do what you do. So I like Lowry, and he's a dog. He's small, but he's a dog. I kind of like that. You need he's a bit of a general. I love that. And I think that's great. All right, let's head over to the West. So you're saying Toronto in 6 there. I think that's fair.
Toronto
So,
in 6, yeah.
all right, before we head over to the West, then essentially what you're saying is Boston playing Toronto. We don't need to go through the teams. Who do you take there?
I take Boston. Boston.
Whoa! Huh?
No, I take Boston. Boston. They're very
Boston,
well coached, and they've done this before. This is nothing new to the Celtics. They pushed LeBron to
Celtics
7.
and how
guys.
many? They did.
Celtics
they did.
In 6. Celtics
in 6. It'll be tough. Yeah, it's still the champions. Okay, fair enough. And then you said the Heat. I think you said and then
Heat, Bucks.
Giannis. Heat Bucks. What do you say there?
I'm saying Bucks in 6 as well because I mean, Giannis is another. He's another guy. He's on another level.
Freak, huh?
He's on course to have the best season in NBA history. Well, and when I say best season in NBA history, that's winning Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and he's a real contender for the finals. So, I mean, if you win MVP and you win Defensive Player of the Year, that's only been done one other time by Michael Jordan in '87. Other than that, I mean, Giannis is something else. He's elite. He's elite.
He's an animal. All right, so you're saying Tatum's going to try to take on the Bucks and Giannis, the Greek freak. Who wins that?
Well, it has to be the Bucks because the Bucks, look at their regular season and how well they've been playing. I think they've learned from also what happened to them last season when Kawhi Leonard put that dagger to them. I think that's also made them hungrier because they want it now. They made some mistakes last year, and last year was a learning curve. And now you've seen from regular season that these guys are serious. They're gonna come correct.
Let's go. All right. So you're saying Giannis, he'll be in the final. But let's go over to the Western Conference. Who will he play? We'll start at the bottom, as you call them, the noisy neighbors. Listen, we saw maybe the softest ejection ever yesterday, by the way. I don't know if you've seen the highlights of yesterday's game, but game 1 yesterday, Clippers.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, Clippers Dallas. It was absolutely. Kristaps Porzingis has been ejected for the most ridiculous second technical you've ever seen. But okay, Clippers Mavs. I mean, listen, they got the Twin Towers from the Baltic region, the Mavericks. But what do you say, Clippers Mavs?
Well, this is going to be I think this is going to be the most exciting series in the West because I mean the Mavericks have got something special. Also, it's young guys, so watch out for the Mavericks in a couple of years to come. But the Clippers are one of the favorites. I mean that team, it's all guys who've been there, who know what playoff basketball is about. They got Kawhi Leonard, they got Paul George, they got Lou Will. Like it's guys who know what they're doing. So
yeah.
But look, I'm giving Mavericks 2 games there, so I'll also say Clippers in 6.
Clippers in 6. Hey, Lou Will went to go get some wings at his favorite place. What did you think of that?
Well, that just shows that you don't care. That shows you don't care.
It's wild.
We're trying to win a championship. For the first time in a while. We're serious contenders, and you decide to go do that. Like for me, that's insane. Like that shows that the guy doesn't care.
It's out. Like guys, like no one's saying don't have fun, but to go to a strip club in the middle of you just got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And you've been dreaming. I mean, he for a long time. He's now a veteran, and he goes and does that. Are you kidding me? Like he's not serious, eh?
He's not serious about winning a ring. He's not serious about winning. For the first time in your history, you are a proper contender. You are a serious contender. And guys, yeah, that just shows me. And during these times of COVID, like, and you go get wings at a strip club. Like, come on, dude. Come on.
Hey, look. In his defense, the wings were named after him, so maybe it's just his favorite place. I mean, I've been to Atlanta, and the strip clubs do have good food there, but okay. Oh man, listen. So let's go on. I think the next game was Utah.
Yeah, Denver in 7.
That's gonna be a great game.
Because this one's tough to call. It really is tough to call, but I think Denver in 7. Denver they've got a nice thing going there as well. They've got a nice thing going. Also, they're well coached. You can see that they're well coached. And also, they elevate their game. It's not about just one particular star. Everybody knows their role in that. There are no egos in that team. Everybody knows their role in that team. So it's just more simple.
So, all right, Denver in 7, Clippers in 6. You got Denver up against Kawhi and Steve Ballmer's money. Who do you take to go to the final there?
Ah, well, sorry, I didn't hear
Clippers,
you.
Clippers, Denver.
Clippers, Denver. Ah, well, Clippers are going to do it. They're going to do it in six again. So, I mean, the
Wow.
Clippers are just, they just, like the acquisitions that they got. I mean, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are two of the biggest stars. Like, also they're great two-way players. So they're as good on
Yeah.
offense as they are on defense. So like they know what they're doing there. And then when you have a luxury of a guy like Lou Williams coming off the bench, I mean, he's been sixth man of the year like for how many years now? So
Mm.
the Clippers should get to the finals. They should. Like I don't see any major hiccup. Well, not finals, the
Look,
Western Conference finals. Sorry, let me.
and I think what's interesting is we're going to get to see who now he has no excuses. Paul George is. Are you the real guy?
Yes.
Because we saw that Siakam's the real guy. Is Paul George has kind of had his little excuses before? Oh, this injury. Oh, that. Is now you have no excuse.
Yeah.
You've got the claw. So now you've got somebody who's for real, real. All you need to do is do your
Who's the
bit.
closer?
Because
Who's the closer?
so let's see if he's the guy. All right. So you're saying the Clippers in the final. Let's go up and see right, small ball against OKC. Do you know what I love here? Is Chris Paul is about to come back and talk smack. And
Right.
my God, are they not the team of the second half of the season? Chris Paul has been out of this. He's playing out of his skin.
Dude, they gave the Thunder a 0.2% chance of making it to the playoffs. So Chris Paul's already showing that, look, guys, I got this. Don't worry about this. Also, I don't know why people doubt Chris Paul. You know what Chris Paul gets you. You know what Chris Paul gets you. He's a great facilitator. And if you want your team to play like a team, Chris Paul's the guy. Chris Paul's the guy. I mean, look, they pushed the Warriors a couple of years ago when he was at the Rockets. They pushed the Warriors, and then Chris Paul got injured. They had the Warriors on the ropes, and that's Warriors with a KD, eh? So they had them on the ropes. But it's unfortunate that Chris Paul got injured. But I mean, also that series with the Rockets, it depends on how many games Westbrook misses. Because if Westbrook misses 3 or 4 games, good night Rockets. Good night Rockets. OKC will take it. But if Westbrook is fit, then it's a different story.
All right, we don't do ifs here, ifs, buts, maybes. What do you take? You can't control when Westbrook comes back. Who do you take? OKC or the Rockets?
OKC, because also James Harden choked when it comes to the playoffs. He's a great regular season. He's a great regular season player, but his playoff resume is terrible. Also, with small ball. Also, a lot of guys can't get their own shot at the Rockets, so he's the only guy that can get his shot, and he needs help. We've seen that he needs help. So, yeah. OKC.
No good.
OKC in 7.
Even with the rest of lockdown, huh? Even with the rest of lockdown. And I think that's one thing we've always criticized Chris Paul is he is injury prone. He's a bit of a sick note. But this kind of lockdown, I think all of the guys are coming in fresh. So you don't think small ball and Chris Paul being fit, you don't think that's going to help either guy? You still think OKC? Small ball,
OKC.
huh? 2 and 10. All right. OKC and 6. All righty. Well, let's go to your team and my guy, the king, the one and only, the greatest of all time. I don't really want to hear anything else. LeBron James, right? So they are taking on Dame Lillard, right? And Portland. What do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah, I think Lakers by 6. Look, it has the potential to be a tricky season. I mean, not season series, but LeBron and the guys are going to have too much for Damian Lillard. Also, I think Damian Lillard's played his best games trying to get the Trailblazers into the playoffs. So now the Lakers were cruising. They'd already secured first seed. So to them, them losing their final games wasn't such a big deal because they'd already secured the top seed. So they'd already secured a home court. So yeah, I mean, Lakers in 5, actually. Lakers in 5, I'll say that. It's going to be a gentleman's sweep.
Wow. Okay, well, there you have it, all right? And then let's get to it. Let's get real about it. Clippers-Lakers. Noisy neighbors versus the incumbent.
Lakers in 6. Lakers have got too many guys. Lakers in 6.
Easy I think like LeBron's that, not even 7.
Nah, he's going to send a clear message. It's going to be a clear message. Guys, LeBron James is a different animal come playoffs. He's a different animal come playoffs. And you have guys who've been there and they've done it. You've got J.R. Smith. He knows what it takes to win a championship. JaVale McGee. He's done it with the Warriors. Rajon Rondo. He's done it with the Celtics. So these guys know it.
Mm.
Also, you have a guy that's hungry in Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis went from hustling to get into a playoff position. Now he's going to come correct with the season that he's having. Trust me, the Lakers are serious. Lakers are serious.
Do you have any concerns? Because if there's any criticism of Anthony Davis is he shrinks when the light gets most intense. I mean, he had Boogie Cousins for how many seasons? And he's only ever won one playoff game before this. Any concerns about his mentality at all, or are you all in?
Listen, you can't. He had DeMarcus Cousins. He didn't have LeBron James, guys. LeBron James is another animal. Doesn't have to be
animal.
the
You're
guy.
not going to get a fight here. You're not going to get a fight here. All right, so you're saying in 6. Wow. All right, Kawhi Leonard, get the hell out of here. Take Steve Ballmer's money and get the hell out of here. All right, here we go. So then LeBron naturally is meeting Giannis Antetokounmpo in the final. Talk me through proceedings. What do you think is going to go on there?
Again, the Lakers in 6. Look, the problem is with Giannis, like he doesn't have a perimeter game. So now you've got a very crafty guy like LeBron. So LeBron is going to go and say, listen here. Or Anthony Davis is going to go say, listen here, Giannis, come, let me lock you down. You're mine. Whole series, you're mine. So lock down. And then who else does it for the Bucks? Who else does it for the Bucks? They got no one else. I mean, whether LeBron or Anthony Davis lock him up, then it gives the other guy room to go do what he does.
No, well said. An animal, because last year that's the criticism. Once again, Giannis, I love him and I like what he brings to the game. He doesn't talk smack. He just gets it done. His problem has been getting it done from the outside, because we saw the secret last year is build a wall, and the Lakers are long and big. So there is no. If you don't have a mid-range game, you are in trouble. I mean, JaVale, you're looking at LeBron, like you're saying, Anthony Davis already. That's just those three. I don't see it. So you're saying King James all the way in 6.
King James is going to win it all. King James
win it all, baby.
All right.
Angry. He's an angry man. And also, revenge body.
Also, it's going to put. Also, guys, I mean, look at LeBron. Look at LeBron now, guys. He's in his 17th or 18th year. And look at the numbers he is posting. It's unheard of. It is literally unheard of. He looks in better shape than he was when he was at Cleveland. Like, it's ridiculous. Cleveland Part 2, that is, not Cleveland Part 1.
Message noted. Hey, Senzo, love that, bro. I cannot wait. Me and NBA, we're like this. We're like, I'm NFL, but my side girl is definitely the NBA. I'm NFL first, but we'll get you back on once the NFL gets going. Let's get into things on this side of the Atlantic. All right, you are a Man United fan. Let's just talk about it. I mean, I'm going to be on my best behavior. Nicholas Wilshire Preston says, when are you going to be talking about United, or is there just not much to say? Oh my goodness, that set the tone.
That's one of my boys. He's a Liverpool fan. He's a Liverpool fan, so he's been going loud at me.
As far as I'm concerned, he's a fan of the show. So let's get into it. Let's talk about United, and maybe let's start with the Premier League. Kevin De Bruyne, I just wanted to get your opinion. Player of the season. Do you have anything against that?
No, he's elite. He's elite. Best player operating in England.
Yeah. Enough said.
Look at his assist numbers with the floundering City, guys. With the floundering City, 20 assists. 20 assists with the floundering City, guys.
You're preaching to the choir here. Anybody saying anything else? And I love Sadio Mane, but get that noise the hell out of here.
Kevin De Bruyne can do everything. Can shoot with his left, can shoot with his right. Can play attacking game. He can facilitate for you. He does whatever he wants. He does whatever he wants. Yeah. He's the general.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we're both happy there. Let's get into United stuff. Listen, the loss to Sevilla. Talk to me about, number one, the performance, and then get into what did that tell you about the current United squad under Oli?
Look, Mbalelo, I'm not mad with that loss. Look, a lot of people will disagree with what I'm saying, but I'm not mad with that loss because we dominated that game. Look how many chances we created. Look how many shots we created. Look, we had more of the ball than them. We had 20 shots. Sevilla only had 9. So it would be a different story if we got outplayed by Sevilla. But I'm not mad with that loss. I really am not. It would be. It's heartbreaking. It sucks to lose, but like I don't think it's a train smash because we played well. We played well. The ball just wouldn't go into the back of the net.
And is that a worrying trend? Because I'm pretty sure as a United fan, that's not the first, second, third, or fourth time you've had to say that this season. There's been plenty of times where I'm pretty sure you felt you dominated the game, but you're on the wrong side of the result.
Look, the problem is with us. We need somebody world class at the back. Our two centre backs, well, three if you count Eric Bailly, like they're not up to the standard. Eric Bailly is a great footballer, but he's always injured, and him being injured does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. I mean, what's the point of having a good player if you can never play him?
Availability is the greatest ability. I've always said it. Availability is the greatest ability. Yeah. So all right. Look, we're gonna get to. Yeah.
First, you have to be fit, then to play, and then after that, then everything takes care of itself.
All right. Look, we'll get to the end, and we'll talk about who should go, who should stay. I kind of want to save that for the end, but you kind of opened up a can of worms there that I'd love to hear at the end. Let's talk about the United season as a whole, because you're a United fan. Give it a mark out of 10, and tell me why you feel it's been that.
Look, I'll give it a 6.5, because if you think about where we were in January, we were 14 points behind Leicester. We had no chance of making the Champions League. To finish where we finished now is it only says it's been a great comeback. It's been a great comeback. No, not really a comeback, but it's been a great second half of the season, because the way Oli got those guys playing as a team and buying into the philosophy, and I think Oli knows what type of football he wants to play now. Guys, I think guys are more sure of their role. And also with Bruno coming in, I mean, we needed that guy to help us push. And you need guys like Bruno Fernandes. You need him. I mean, I think you saw in the game against Sevilla when the second goal went in, how he was shouting at Lindelof. I think he's serious. He didn't come to United to play around. He came there to win things. So those are the guys that you need to drive the rest of the guys. Because if Bruno doesn't come, I don't know if we have such if we get into Champions League. So I'll give it a 6.5.
So I mean, 6.5. Fair enough, which is a C+. That'll work. But there's another interesting dimension for me is, what do you think of Oli so far? Right? What's it been now? Let's call it 2 full seasons, because you can't really count that first one. Yeah. What do you think of Oli so far?
Look,
how would you grade him?
I think we're improving under him. I mean, now we know what kind of football we want to play. I mean, we have a philosophy. We're trying to go back to the United way. I mean, guys give Oli, they give him a tough time, but I don't think it's his fault. You must understand that before him, our problems before him were way bigger. Way, way bigger. United are in better shape now that he's at the helm. And also, I think he's got the guys want to play for him. The guys really want to play for him. He's got the guys, he's got the dressing room. He's got them tight. He's got them. So I think Oli's our guy. He's our guy.
Okay, well, great. Okay, so now then I have to ask you, if he's your guy, how long do you... So what is acceptable next season for Oli? Number one, you can answer both of these at the same time. So what is an acceptable or unacceptable season next season? And how long do you give him until United standards are met? And you can tell me what those standards are, whether that's title, top 4. So how long do you give Oli? And how long do you give him until United standards are met? So what's non-negotiable next season? Maybe we should start there. What is a non-negotiable league season next season?
Third at least, and being competitive, not getting blown out by so many points. Let's at least make it a competition. Let's say, okay, yeah, we're in the conversation for a bit, and a deep cup run, and 2 deep cup runs. Then I'm okay with that. Because the thing is,
third at least, huh?
Third at least. Because I mean, if we go to 4th now, I mean, we've regressed. You go from coming 3rd to coming 4th. I mean, you've gone back. You've taken a step back. And also, I mean, we must be 3rd and challenging. We can't get blown up by 30 points by the champions and then City blow us out by another 20 points.
Okay, so, fair enough. Now, you've said this, okay? You've said this as a United fan. Oli comes 4th, knocked out of semi-final FA Cup, Carabao Cup, you don't make it, and gets last 16 in the Champions League. What do you do?
That's a tough one. But I'd still back him to stay. I'd still back him to stay because, I mean, he got us into Champions League. The main thing is with Champions League, you don't want to go play in the Champions League and then you go finish 3rd and you go play Europa again. That does nothing for you. If he comes 4th and he goes into an FA Cup semi, and then he gets into a Champions League last 16. And I'm not mad with that. I really am not mad with that.
Okay, how long do you?
Not mad with that.
Fair enough. And listen, I think, let's be honest, banter aside, United are getting into troubling territory now, right? 2013 is a long time ago. We're getting into a new decade now. How long did you hear Liverpool fans saying next season, history? Because I'm hearing quite a lot of that talk from United fans. Arsenal.
Next year's our year.
Do you realize Arsenal? It's going to be 19 years. That's 2 decades, right? Basically, the Republic of South Africa, we were basically there, of freedom, and Arsenal haven't won a title. Now, talk to me about how long do you give Ollie without actually being top 2 and 3 points off the top? Do you give him another 2 seasons, 3 seasons? How long until it's you and another team at the top? If Ollie goes 2 seasons, 15 points off the top?
2 more seasons. Two more seasons. So 2 more seasons, and then he has to be a top 2 team. He has to be a top 2 team. I mean, because the thing is about United, I mean, you're not guaranteed to win trophies all the time. You just want to be competitive. Getting blown out by 30 points is not being competitive. It's not being competitive. I mean, you just want to be in the conversation.
Wow. Okay, 2 more seasons. So it better be quick. It better be sharpish. Chelsea are spending. Man City are going to come again. And Liverpool are where they are. But I think the Klopp thing might be winding down anyway. I think it might be his last season. So talk to me about this. I have a serious question that I ask United fans that they get emotional about. Is it a shortage of talent, or is there something else going on at United other than that? Because I think it can't be this bad for this long if it's just a talent thing. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a United fan.
I don't think it's a talent thing. I don't think it's a talent problem. I think it's the people making footballing decisions at Man United. I think that's the problem. It's the people making the footballing decisions at Man United that don't know which direction they want to go. Yes, they want to be a profitable club. They want to do well off the field. But also, I think, with that being said, it's also affecting. So you're getting the same people making the same different decisions. So you're getting the corporate guys making footballing decisions as well. So I think that's where the problem is. I think that's where the miscommunication is coming in, and I think it trickles down. I mean, these things do have a trickle-down effect. So I think that's what we're seeing at United.
So it's just been a series of terrible decisions, really. And, that started after Fergie. And I'd like to know, where did it go so wrong after Fergie and Gill left? Because it's been if you're a United fan, I would imagine for you it's been a nightmare, but it's been hilarious for the rest of us. It's really been comedic. The slide, it's almost been like, when a guy breaks up with somebody and he dates every single girl that looks at him at a club. It's almost felt like that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's been like, how many rebounds are Man United going to take before they get somebody who's wife material? Talk to me about, number one, where did it go so wrong? And then secondly is, if you were in charge, and hindsight is always 2020, what could United have done different to be successful?
Look, I think I might sound controversial for this, but I think the problem was Ferguson knew that he was going to retire, and he didn't set it up for David Moyes. He basically gave David Moyes the aging squad, and he said, look, my hands are washed. It's your baby now. You take care of it. He didn't set Moyes up to say, look, okay, cool. This is how you're going to succeed, and this is how, let me set it up for you. Let me make your job a little bit easier. He basically gave David Moyes nothing. He said, here, it's yours now. Here are the keys. You drive. You didn't show him how to drive, where the aircon is, how you put the radio on, how you do all of that.
Wow. Okay, so it's Fergie's fault, huh?
I mean, he must also take some responsibility, because if you look at it, Moyes got the exact same squad that Ferguson had. And look, he had an aging Vidic, he had an aging Ferdinand, had an aging Evra. Wayne Rooney wasn't the same anymore. So there were just a lot of things that weren't going to go great. So I don't think Fergie set it up for David Moyes. So, and that's where the problem came in. And also David Moyes, to go from doing decently, getting top 4, you've never won a trophy, and you've been at Everton for 10 years, now to being handed the reins at the biggest club. I also think he also got overwhelmed by the job, because now the expectations are different now. You're not expected to get into Europe. They're expecting you to do well in Europe and to come back with the league. So it's a different animal entirely. And I think the job just swallowed him. and he tried to do things too differently. And it just backfired.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. A friend of mine said, listen, if they'd given Moyes the same amount of money and time they'd given Ollie, United would be in the same place they are in now. So why didn't they just do that with him? But okay, I think you fair enough. I'd like to know, listen, we'll take some questions at the end. I think you've raised some interesting points, and I don't often hear United fans willing to put their balls on the table and say Fergie was at fault. You know, he's like a bit of a messiah. People hate to go, Fergie was ever wrong because he's got 13 titles. But I think that's a fair point, dude. And before we get to the questions, or before we get to, go ahead.
I mean, also you had Ferguson and David Gill leaving at the same time. And David Gill was very serious about these things. I mean, if David Gill... So just look at this whole situation with Jadon Sancho. If David Gill was at the helm, this deal would have been done a long time ago. It wouldn't have been done for the end. It would have been done a long time ago. We wouldn't be floundering about, okay, this is the number that you want. No, I don't agree with this number. That deal would have been done, or would have moved on and found a suitable replacement. Someone who does what Jadon Sancho does.
And I think a great transition. By the way, David Gill, I've always said, honestly, I've always said it. Always hated Man United, but you got to respect the man. The greatest football administrator of our time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
United were winning over and over and over. And next thing I know, you've got Juan Sebastian Veron. What? Okay. Next thing I know, you've got Rio Ferdinand. What? Next thing I know, you got Vidic. Quiet. Before the season, sorted. Quiet. There's no nonsense. Next thing I know, in January, Patrice Evra. What? And this was, you know what I mean? You're lucky a few times when you do it over 10 years. It's just, to keep that dynasty going. Absolutely incredible. My last question to you, Jadon Sancho. An absolute must. Where would you go with the Sancho at the 108 million number? What do you feel? Is it an absolute must? Can you stick with Greenwood? Do you think Greenwood can develop next season? Can Daniel James come on? Is Jadon Sancho an absolute must? Or can United achieve the things you've said you want to achieve without him?
I think he's a must because, I mean, you look at the game against Sevilla on, when was it, Sunday? You look at how long it took Solskjaer to put on substitutes. I think he only made a sub like in the 80th. And that says a lot about the quality he has on the bench and the guys who are back up. He doesn't trust him. He absolutely doesn't trust him. And if you want to contend for things, and if you want to make deep cup runs, you have to have guys who are, you have to have really good backup. You can't, your starting team can't be an A+, and then your backup is a C at best. That can't happen. It's not going to get you anywhere. You need to be able to rely on the guys on the bench, come rain or shine, against Sevilla, against Real Madrid, against Stoke, against anywhere. You need to be able to rely on the guys on the bench. And I think that is the problem. Because there's nothing on the bench. There's no depth. So that's our problem.
Do you have any concerns? Because my concerns about Sancho, I wouldn't go there because I never like character issues, and I already have my issues with Pogba. I don't want to go over that. It sounds like I'm a hater, right? Lingard, about that lifestyle, the fashion, and all that stuff. We're at Man United, and the Man United pattern has always been: you have a strong leader, you build around that, and everybody plays in the image of United. Even David Beckham, right? For a long, long time. When he became a real spice boy, Fergie said at, 29, get the hell out of here, is you build around Keane. Before that, you build around Robson. After that, you build around Vidic. There was a model. Who's for lack of a better term, who's the bastard now at Man United who keeps everybody accountable? Because as much as Bruno might try, who's the Vidic now? Back then there's no one talking to Vidic. Like what you saw with Lindelof and Bruno yesterday, when Keane spoke back then to all of them, you remember the videos, Giggs, they all, Keane speaks, shut the hell up, we're about to win. When Vidic spoke, shut the hell up, we're going to win. Before that, Schmeichel speaks, shut the hell up, we're going to win. Who's the guy now to set the tone for Ollie?
But I think it also comes down to the manager. I mean, also the manager has to have his guy. I mean, he has to have his guy. So, I mean, if you see it with Ferguson, I mean, Roy Keane was just another Ferguson on the pitch. You know what I mean? If you don't fit in with the standards of Man United, you think you're bigger than the club, there's the door out. Here, there are too many guys, who are holding the club at ransom, and I think, they don't really want to step up and be the leader. And I don't think they know the responsibility of the jersey, of what it takes to wear that jersey. And I think that is the problem. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to remind them of that. and there has to be a guy to take up the mantle, because the reason that Harry Maguire's captain now is because I think the bigger players have shrunk. Like, look, it's all good and well. Like, Paul Pogba, I love him. He can be a leader. But the thing is with Pogba, I mean, there's a time and a place for things. We can't be playing mediocre soccer and like you busy on Instagram doing all of that stuff. Like, let's win first. Look, I don't have any problem with what Pogba does in his personal life. That's his business. But you must understand that, look, if you are going to want to post stuff and you want to show people what kind of life you're about, you must be able to back it up with your performances on the pitch. Because if you're winning and you're doing well, nobody can say anything. If you're not winning and you're busy posting up that, it gives people leeway. It might not be the problem. It gives people leeway to say, look, I think he has too many eclectic interests outside of soccer. And then it starts putting a question mark against your name. Like, are you serious? They paid 90 million for him. But also, I think with Pogba, with him and his leadership qualities, I think for him, it's come a time that if he wants to leave, he'll know it will forever be a stain on his career that he came back to Man United and he failed. And I think that will eat him more. It will eat him more. So I think he knows. He knows it's time to deliver. I think that's why he's made a U-turn with these contract negotiations and all that. So, yeah.
Oh, man, some good stuff there. Senzo, hey, great stuff, dude. Great stuff. Listen, let's play a quick game and then we're going to take some questions, Dave. So we're going to play a game and you can just say keep or sell. So you don't have to give me any reasons. We will talk about it in the future. We'll definitely have you back on. So keep or sell. Right. You got, this one has two. So De Gea.
Keep.
All right. What do you do with Henderson? Keep Henderson, both, loan Henderson out.
Loan Henderson out.
Okay.
Give him one season more on loan, because you must remember, David De Gea is still a world-class keeper. He might be going through his issues, but I still think he's world-class. Also, him making these mistakes, it might be a testament of the guys playing in front of him, that he has absolutely no confidence in them. So that's the way I see it.
Okay, well, I think we know it won't be Sheffield, because Sheffield have signed their next keeper. They've gone to Bournemouth and replaced there. So it'll be interesting to see who will take Henderson, because he's a high-level keeper. Interesting to see who will take a keeper of that quality. Give him to Chelsea. I mean, listen, we don't take... We've been winning titles in the last 5 years. We don't want that losers mentality at Chelsea. Keep that far away from us. Keep that far away. Don't bring that United, we're happy to be in the top 4 mentality. That's not us. That ain't us. You got the wrong guys.
Listen to you
guys. You got the wrong guys, Chief. We've won the Champions League in the last decade. Let's not do this. I didn't want to go down here. You brought this out.
All the serious football in England is played in the Northwest. There's nothing
unbelievable. This is unbelievable. The first title in 30 years. Guys haven't won in 7 seasons. Let's move on. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Lindelof, keep or sell?
I think he must go. I think he has to sell. You have to sell him.
Wow.
You have to sell him.
Okay, Bailly.
Sell. Injury prone. Sell.
Jones.
Sell. His time is up. He needs to go.
Smalling.
His time is up as well. He needs to go. He can stay in Italy.
Dalot. Okay, Dalot.
Since Mourinho loves him so much, he can give him back to Spurs.
Wow. Pogba.
Pogba, stay.
Stay.
Pogba's a big player. Stay.
All right, stay. Juan Mata.
Juan Mata, keep him there for he's good for the dressing room. Keep him. You need guys like that in the dressing room.
Jesse Lingard.
Jesse Lingard, he's punching above his weight. United's too big of a club for him. Sell him.
Wow.
Thank you for your
One
service.
of the kids, huh? All right, so we don't do United kids anymore. Jesse Lingard, get the hell out of here. Another one, Pereira.
Pereira, time's up. He needs to go.
Wow.
He's not. His game isn't elevating.
Take those.
I've seen enough. Cheers.
Take those highlights the hell out the door. All right, an interesting one, Fred.
Fred's improved this season, so I think he's still got a lot more to offer. So I don't think Mourinho was the manager for him. I don't think Mourinho was the manager for him. So now he's also settling in nicely. I mean, when Pogba was out and before we had Fernandes, he was doing a steady job. So I think he's coming along nicely. So keep him.
Dan James.
He's young. Keep him. He's young. He'll get there. He's still a bit raw, so I keep him.
Okay, the man that Chelsea fleeced you for £30 million, Nemanja Matic.
No, keep him. I think when he's around, Pogba also looks like a better player when Nemanja's there. He trusts him more, so he's got license to go up the field, and that's when things happen big time.
All right, and then lastly, my guy, Nigeria's finest, Igalo.
Igalo can go back to China. Like we're right now. We're all right now. We're all right. We're all right.
You can go back to China. Sound like you break up with your ex-girlfriend who broke your heart. Go the hell back to China. All right.
I mean, he also knew the job that he was there to do. I mean, I don't think he was under any illusions. Like, his role was defined. And I think, hey, man, cool, man. Thank you very much, Short, for helping us out. We got this.
Man United fans are brutal, huh? Go back to China. Wow. Hey, Senzo, you've been stunning, bro. Listen, you've been great with your time. Do you have time to take questions?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Let's go.
All righty. David LaRue, won't you be a munchkin and give us the first question? The Rig says, are United the Proteas of the Premier League, dominating but losing? That's like our World Cup experience, huh?
No, man, these things happen. I mean, every team has that kind of night. You do everything to put the ball in, and it doesn't go in. I mean, 20 chances. You saw that second half. The Sevilla guys were shell shocked. They were shell shocked at the beginning. They were huffing and puffing, and they just got a chance and they buried it. That's all that happened. They got 2 chances which were clear cut, and they buried them. So it happens. That's why I said I'm not mad at that loss.
Are you saying Anthony Martial, is he not world class?
No, but
unless I'm wrong.
Did he have a bad season? That's my question.
At 21 or Martial, who do you take? Be honest.
I'm going to take Martial, dude.
That's unbelievable. All right, Dave, what's the next question? It's unbelievable.
I'm going to take Martial.
I don't even know where to go from there. Lulama Kawaga says, none of the Boston teams will tolerate a prima donna like Kyrie. I think that's a good point, huh? Boston's Absolutely. A tough city to play sport in general. They are
Absolutely.
They are fiery people in general. No prima donna stuff
also,
there.
The problem was Kyrie walked into Boston like Boston weren't winning championships without him, like he was the savior of Boston. Guys, Boston have won the most NBA championships, and they've been to the finals. They made deep playoff runs. So him going into Boston and thinking that he's going to be the guy like... After we signed Bruno, we went on that undefeated run. And even after lockdown, United haven't lost a league game since January, if you think about it. We haven't lost a league game since January, so it has to be a comeback. I mean, also, you can only beat what's in front of you. If everybody else is playing badly, is United supposed to lower their standards?
Fair dinkum.
I mean, also,
fair dinkum.
I mean, look, we did the double over Chelsea. You did the double over City. I mean, before Liverpool lost, we're the only team to take points off them. So, I mean, it's not that United, it's not that other teams fell off as well. United also knew they had an idea of what they wanted to do, and they just stuck to what works best for them.
Okay, there you go. Lifika Morobe. What's next, Dave? Pretzel Position says, I hear you hate small ball. I feel you, man. I think there is cream for that. Okay, I think that's a different ball, but fair enough. That's outrageous. Wow. That's the type of comments you're gonna get. What you got next for me, Dave? There's a cream for that. It's an unbelievable world. It's the internet. What you gonna do? Lulama Kabaga says Damian Lillard is consistent. He's on fire at the moment. So I think that's a bit of pushback from Lulama at you hating on at Dame time.
Look, Lillard is. I'm not saying
best shooter in the league. People are saying,
bad.
"Oh, Shams Charania said he's the best shooter in the league."
I'm not saying Dame Lillard is bad, but guys, let's not get ahead of ourselves and compare him to Steph Curry, guys, and say he's the best shooter in the league. People have just forgotten because Steph is injured, because Steph's hand's broken, so they've just forgotten. Also, Damian Lillard, what does he do when it matters the most at the playoffs? What does he do? Look at his playoff resume. Look at his play. How long has he been at Portland? And the only playoff run he did something in was last season. I mean, come on, you can't be playing 8. We can't be saying you're great in the league, and only after like 8 or 9 seasons we say, oh, okay, you did something finally in the playoffs. Come on.
Okay, there you have it, Lulama Kubaka. Who's next, Dave? What have we got? Sanel Lenkosi says, do you think Bayern maybe embarrassed Barca because they had a longer break? Man United should have thing isn't a fatigue thing. I said it, I think, in where I was right, where I was wrong is Barca are a broken team. You know, one of the things about their mantra is more than a football. When the city of Barcelona is not behind Barcelona, if you look at the trends, and I've read some of their books, and we're going to have somebody interesting, Guillem Balag, who's written a lot of books on Pep, and he is the La Liga expert, is when the city of Catalonia is behind Barcelona, it's a different thing. And that includes the boardroom. Barcelona right now are not only a city divided, but a club divided. And their mantra is more than a football club. The people feel disconnected from Barcelona. It always affects the club. So for me, I don't think it's a fatigue issue. They were always second for a long time. I think they've taken their foot off the gas for a while in La Liga. I just think Bayern Munich right now are playing at the highest level I've seen in terms of technically what they've got. The mixture of that with the tactical miracle that Hansi Flick has imposed, it's the highest level of cohesion I've seen since Pep Guardiola part 1 at Barcelona. So don't think it was the fatigue. It's just a team that is absolute perfection at the moment. Dave, could you maybe bring up that question again, and we will allow Senzo to answer. Senzo, you can give your opinion on what I've just said in terms of, was it fatigue or were Bayern just better? And then United should have killed Sevilla. And look, once again, you get divorced from a wife the first time, okay, maybe it's her fault. The second time, okay, bad luck. You know, relationships happen. When you get divorced the third time, doesn't it become a you problem? Ollie, 3 semi-final knockouts now. Your thoughts?
Look, with the Bayern thing, I mean, if anything, Bayern was supposed to be the rusty team. And what they did to Barca, what they did to Chelsea before, and what they did to Barca, I mean, it just shows that, look, normal services resumed. So also Barca have a lot of problems, like you said. They've got a lot of problems. The guys are aging on their clock. And also their recruitment has been all over the place. They bought guys they didn't need at inflated prices. They bought guys they absolutely did not need. And they've just done it again with Pjanic, with swapping Pjanic for Artur. They just bought the same player but an older version. Like it makes no sense. With Oli and Cup footballs, I mean, against Chelsea, I think that one with Chelsea, I mean, with the semi-final with Chelsea, I think he just had one eye on top 4. So that one I can't really blame him for. With the one against Sevilla, I just put it down to being unlucky. So you can't really say that, you know, it's Man United are choking at semi-final point, because that game we were unlucky. We should have buried that game, but these things happen, as I said. So I'm not mad with that loss.
So that is 3 in a row, though. Oof. Okay, fair enough. The principal position says, I've heard a lot of relationship advice tonight. Looking forward to the Andy Murray tweet. Don't worry about that. It's not relationship advice. I'm just saying what it is. Dave, what you got for us next? Lifika saying, I'm happy with the loss. These are the words of a supporter of a club who is yet to accept the reality of their mediocrity. Hey, and that's coming from a Liverpool fan. Wow.
I didn't say I was happy. I was happy with the loss.
It's a good point.
I said I'm not mad with the loss.
Okay, so there's a difference.
I didn't say I'm happy with the no one's happy losing. I mean, but it's not like Sevilla outplayed us. That's all I'm saying. Sevilla did not outplay us. We were unlucky. I mean, if you have doubled the shots of the other team, did you not dominate the game?
Okay, well, listen, that's what Lefika Mruba says. He says you've now dropped the standards so far from Fergie when it was unacceptable to lose to we're now saying we're not unhappy with the loss. But okay, it is what it is. I'm gonna let that be what it is, guys. You can let me know what you think of Senzo saying he didn't say he's happy. He said I'm not unhappy, which you know that sounds like a politician to me if ever. So Senzo, I love it. Ndumiso Masango says Martial or Trashford. Or Trashford. Okay, so there we go. Well, I think he's echoing what you were saying. Is no competition at right back for
lack of depth. There's no one else who can do the job. So it's just like, okay, let's persist with this guy. But because if we're losing and we're trying to win a game and we're only making a sub at the 80th minute, I mean, it shows that. I mean, if you're on the bench on that for that game against Sevilla, it's sending a big message. It's saying the coach doesn't trust me. It says the coach doesn't trust me. So there's no depth. There's no depth. And if you want to make cup runs and you want to challenge for things, you need depth. You need to be able to trust your backup.
100%. All right, Dave, let's take 2 more questions because I think everybody wants to go and enjoy the Leipzig the Leipzig game against the pretty boys of PSG. The rig says where I was wrong, MS Dhoni. So for those who don't understand the context of that, is I'm not buying into the Dhoni's a legend thing and we must retire his jersey. Look, I've seen 2 keepers in his era. The problem is maybe if these 2 keepers existed in another time, if I didn't have Kuma Sangakkara, 10,000 runs in both forms of the game, 50 average in both, basically, well, in Test cricket, and over 12 centuries in both forms of the game, over 20 Test centuries in cricket. If I hadn't seen
12
that,
double centuries.
and if I hadn't seen Adam Gilchrist in the same era, right? 2 keepers who have changed the face of keeping forever. And MS Dhoni, he hasn't changed cricket as a keeper. He's got a 38 batting average. Like, he hasn't changed cricket. So no, I'm not wrong about that. Anybody who is in their right mind and says they would take Dhoni over Kuma Sangakkara or Adam Gilchrist needs to be tested for unbelievably strong drugs or for a chemical imbalance. I'm sorry. I don't know, your thoughts.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you because the thing is, Dhoni hasn't done anything great. Like, he hasn't done anything great. People don't go, oh, wow, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is an amazing batsman. You think of Adam Gilchrist, you could think of Kuma Sangakkara, you're like, oh, wow, they're good keepers. Oh, and they can bat really, really well. So, like,
yeah,
with Dhoni, you don't...
I don't get it. Is if we like somebody, we always hold them in high esteem. Like Dhoni, one thing that's awesome about him, I think he's been awesome for the game of India and taking it to the world. He's presidential, he's handsome, he's really the face of cricket. And you look at the way he's handled himself. You know what I mean? Other than that, like, it's like a high grade, all he is a higher grade color with the Rana as far as I'm concerned. Dave, what we got next? Ndumiso Masango says, Senzo, do you think Coutinho was man of the match over Thiago against Barca? Oh, no, that's an interesting one.
No, and he said that for to fuel the fire. I mean, because he's an ex-employee. He wasn't man of the match. Because the thing is, I just made a comment about Coutinho being man of the match because he came on for 10 minutes, scored 2 goals, and he gave an assist against his employers. So that's why I was like, no, he's man of the match. But no, Thiago bossed that game. Him and Goretzka, they ran it.
I'm so happy that Thiago's injuries are over. Listen, what's it? Coutinho is just the way to do it, isn't it? That's like breaking up with your girlfriend and you are getting chubby, getting like a 6-pack, and then hooking up with a supermodel and pitching up at the beach, and she's got a fat boyfriend. Like, that's what he's done, right? That is the way to do it. Is you left me, I don't care, I'm going to upgrade. Like, that's awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. We'll finish off with this one. Senzo, you've been awesome, and thanks for being so gracious with your time, dude. You've been amazing, and once again, thanks for the support. Paul, is it Abel or Abel? I hope I'm saying Abel or Abel. I hope I'm Abel. Sorry there, Mr. Abel. He says, if Jaden Sancho struggles this season, would he still be worth him? Okay. So if Jaden Sancho struggles this season, is it still worth paying 100 million for him? That's a great question. Is if you spend 100 mil on him and he doesn't take you, and you guys finish 4th and you don't win anything else, is that like a failure? That's a great question.
After one season, I mean, it wouldn't. You must remember he left England when he was really young. So I mean, sure, you must give him time to acclimatize. But like, also, what's a failure? What are we calling a failure? He scores 5 goals and he gives you. But his personal numbers, because you also have to look at those.
Well, you already came 3rd without him. Okay, so maybe this is a good question. Is you already said for you 3rd is non-negotiable. So you already came, let's be honest, tied 3rd. Okay, goal difference, but tied 3rd really is you already came 3rd without him.
Okay.
Okay, well, tied 3rd. It's neither here nor there.
If that's your argument, then we were tied first. That game, that City wins by goal difference. So.
Let's not. We're getting into the long grass. Okay, so you came 3rd. without him. You come fourth next season, but he has 10 goals, because it's not just about his individual numbers, right? The team has to win. What happens if you come fourth next season, no trophies, and Sancho has come and he's scored 15 goals and he's got 10 assists? Success or failure? Because that is a great point. Is you came third without him.
No, but it's a successful season. You have to look. Okay, it's like, look at Fernando Torres. Let me give you a very simple example. Chelsea shelled out £50 million for Fernando Torres, right?
Uh-huh.
You won the Champions League with him. You won Europa. He never won European trophies before he came to Chelsea. Yeah, FA Cup. He never won European.
Uh-huh. We did.
He never won European.
By the way, we did the FA Cup and Champions League double in that season. Just saying.
Okay, but
with no coach.
Fernando Torres wasn't winning European trophies at Liverpool, and he was hot at Liverpool. He went to Chelsea. It was like watching an old boxer. So, would you say signing Fernando Torres was a failure or a success?
Well, I always put team success first, and he scored that crucial goal to really put it out of Barcelona's reach. So, in the end, worth it. He took us to the promised land. Jadon Sancho comes, and you get worse for 100 million. Because you say the Torres thing is, we won 2 trophies.
But how much did Torres contribute?
I said, hey, that Barcelona. By the way, just want to say,
in Barcelona, yeah?
No, don't say barring that goal. We're down to 10 men away at the No Camp, and that's to seal it, by the way. So that is a hell of a contribution.
So is that goal worth £50 million?
Close. First time guaranteeing that we in the Champions League final against Barcelona with 10 men, Leo Messi at the top of their game. But it would be interesting. Listen, banter aside, it's an interesting question, right? Is you came third without him. And I think that's, from, as they say in Germany, something which is a wunderbar question there. Really wunderbar. And it would be unglaublich if you don't win, if you aren't better without him.
But look, you have to decide. Because the one season we did come second and we were 19 points behind City. So we come fourth, and what does the first guy finish on? So you have to look at all of that in context as well.
All right. Well, there you have it.
So yeah,
Mr. Abel, you've got your I'm with Mr. Abel there. It kind of sounds like you there. You just want Sancho to succeed. Listen, it's going to be interesting either way. It's another high maintenance guy. He's late 7 times he's been fined for at Borussia Dortmund. Is it another guy to be a problem? He had to have a haircut in lockdown. Broke the rules. So it's going to be interesting either way. Hey, Senzo, you've been phenomenal, dude. And I really, once again, I can't say it enough. Without people like you, dude, without people like you supporting us, to everybody watching at home, you have all been absolutely incredible. The football is on tonight. I want to respect everybody at home. And for being with us, hour 39, this has just flown by. That was a great show. Senzo, incredible, brother. You should have your own podcast. Absolutely brilliant to have Senzo Sithebe on. We'll have him on again. Let us know. What do you think of his opinions? Stick it in the comments, folks. For tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere. You could have been doing whatever you wanted. For tonight, you've been absolutely brilliant. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Spread the love, ladies and gentlemen. Big Shot Media, CliffCentral, changing the sporting landscape forevermore. Ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, it has been a different ballgame.